Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance. We have a 3v3 for you today. This is played with the Engymod, so that means Zoc is here somewhere. And it's on Roanoke Abyss. Basically, we've got 6 really good players on this map, and I'm expecting a great game. This is my first cast with this new feature up here where you can see the live mass and energy incomes, so that's going to be pretty sweet. So let's take a look at the teams. Top team, Team 1, we've got Chosen from Finland. I like to say where people are from, so he's from Finland. Armageddon from Spain. Oh, that's interesting, Spain, Finland. That was a World Cup qualifier a few days ago for soccer / football, whatever you call it. We've got Crazed here from the United States. He lives in Boston, and I was just at Boston, so I should have probably met him, but I didn't. And yeah, he's playing Cybern, so we've got Cybern, Seraphim, and Aeon. So actually those are probably the 3 most logical factions here. Cybern for their navy, Seraphim and Aeon for their hover units anyway. On Team 2 we've got Laneless from Lithuania, and he's an extremely good player, especially in these eco situations, taking on Cybern, playing against Chosen. Here we've got Zoc from Germany playing as Cybern against Armageddon. So it's going to be interesting. And well, we got Tagrock from Gibraltar. So he lives next to Armageddon's country, and he's also Cybern. So we've got 3 Cyberns on the bottom team, and Rock's taking on Crazed. And Rock has a first bomber coming out, so we're going to focus on that at the beginning. He's going to pick up 1 kill for sure. No way they're going to dodge that. And we're going to see if he picks up anything else. These are 2 tightly bunched Engies. And takes out another Engie. Here's Rock coming in with this bomber. And does not quite get that engineer. Now we have Flak coming out for Craze, as well as an anti-air turret. So even if he doesn't kill any more Engies, he's already done his work. I kick this up to +1 as we watch that bomber a little bit more. Lots of plans for this Engie from Chosen though. Making torpedo launchers for no apparent reason. And Craze is still making flak. It's a bit much. Usually when you've got a stationary flag, you don't need this much mobile flag, and this is really good micro from Rock. Picking up the kill and then running away. You can probably swing around and kill this Engie as well. That would be pretty devastating because then Craze wouldn't really have any build capacity. Alternatively, Rock could just go after another player like Armageddon. So the Engie redesign mod, basically what you need to do is if you want to tech, you can make these little buildings that allow you to tech, and they also give factories better build capacity, and it makes it less efficient to assist with engineers. So it's better to spam like 4 T3 factories than to make 1 and assist it with 80 engineers, which I think is a nice idea. It'll prevent massive engineer spam. It'll prevent the lag that's associated with that. So, pretty nice idea, although it's not really catching on, and I haven't played it yet, even though I've meant to many times. I just never seem to get around to it. Although I am back now after a few days away, and it's nice. In any case, enough about me. Somehow I got to talking about me. Hopefully I'll be able to bring you guys a bunch of videos today and upload them overnight. Maybe make up for not having so many for a while. And we have Zog being extremely late with his second factory, only now getting it, and he's probably not going to finish it before minute 5, and we've very late second air from Zog, so a lot of ecoing for him. And it looks like second navy from Laneless, and he's rushing it quite hard, so this is some kind of naval rush. And Chosen isn't even close to getting into the water. Let's see what he has to do with this. He has his ACU to get those 2 naval factories, and now a bomber finally killed from Rock. It survived for 4.5 minutes, did a lot of damage to Crazed. But the problem with Cybern first bomber is that the air factory is awful at making engineers, so you basically screw yourself. So unless you can absolutely cripple your opponent, which Rock did a pretty good job of, then you're basically screwed because the Cybern air factory is horrible at making engineers. You can check out Guile's video. He made a nice video on that explaining it. He showed which factories are the best at engineer spamming. Although supposedly in this mod you don't need to spam engineers. We'll see how that turns out later on. Finally got a second factor from Zoc, and this is the air activator. That's what they're called. So there's an activator for all 3 aspects. There's land, air, and navy. And so basically, once he gets this, he'll be able to tech his air factory. So it adds another dimension to the game in terms of how you progress through the tech tree. And Zoc with the best score, it seems, and he's pulling way ahead of everyone else in mass, although that was just temporary from reclaim. And this is paying off for Laneless so far. He is using his Tech 1 Naval Rush, and he's attacking Chosen's production immediately. But here we have Chosen with a bomber. Could do some nice denying here, but it didn't look like he got any kills with that flak there. And this is where a frigate might be a better unit than a submarine, but there was no way for Laneless to know that these Auroras were coming around. This frigate will take care of it, though. We've got a frigate from Armageddon coming in as well, so he's trying to help out his teammate by attacking Laneless' naval production. And now Rock is winning Tech 1 Air against Craze. That's going to allow him to use these transports to drop all over the place, which he is doing. Let's see what he has in this transport here. Just Mantis, it seems. Just drops off a single Manti, not really sure why. But he's definitely going to be dropping here. That's going to be some nice denial of mass. We've got a naval activator for Armageddon now and going Tech 2 Navy. So he's going to get Tech 2 Navy before 7 minutes. And Zoc has gone Tech 2 Air, so we see different strategies already from the two teams. No activators yet from Rock. And Laneless also hasn't made any activators. Instead, he's teched his commander, which is also a good idea. And some pretty hardcore eco from Zoc, it seems, pulling way ahead. Of course, he's German. The only German in this game, in fact, and that's probably why he has the best eco, because Germans are pretty good at economy, both in real life and in Supreme Commander. Just Tech 1 Navy so far from Craze, and very little being put into it. Rock also not putting much into his Navy, just both players trying to recover because they both had some pretty bad starts. Rock with his early bomber, and Crazed as a result of that had a bad start as well, so obviously they're going to have the two worst ecos. And Rock's saying let's trap him, and this could work because Crazed is very exposed right now. And he's probably not going to be able to get off this island because of the submarines from Rock. So now that he's stuck on the island, Zoc could easily bring in some T2 bombers or something and try to trap him. Now this frigate is fighting off some Auroras here, just noticing some random things here. And now this is a nice Mantis drop from Rock, dropping them all over the place actually. And he's managed to deny some of the mass for Crazed, putting him into an even worse situation than he was before. And also denying a bunch of reclaim, and this is at least 1,000 reclaim right here that Crazed will not be able to get. That's going to affect him later. So you would assume so. And now Crazed is really stuck here. These submarines have surfaced and they've actually taken out the point defense. So it seems that submarines can outrange Tech 1 PD, which is kind of bizarre when you think about it. It doesn't really make sense. And now we have got T2 gunships coming out for Zoc. That's going to put Crazed into a lot of trouble. And this fight up here has really been dominated by Laneless' early navy. But Chosen is now getting into the water himself, going for a naval activator. This is hinting that maybe he's going to be going Tech 2 Navy next. And still Tech 1 mass extractor from Chosen, not really putting too much into his economy. That's to contrast with the others. You can see Laneless has just one T1 mass extractor left that he's going to upgrade. Actually, maybe I'm wrong. In any case, Laneless has a better economy. Now we see Armageddon catching up to Zoc in terms of mass production, and Armageddon is one of the best players in these macro games where you have massive economies. So you definitely don't want to give him too much mass. I remember watching Armageddon in the APC back on GPGnet, and he was just brutal with his economy. Well, I've got T2 Navy now for Armageddon. And do we have T2 Navy from anyone else on the bottom team? I don't think we do. Actually, we do from Laneless. So Laneless is going to have to protect his teammates from these ships from Armageddon. And now Crazed manages to kill off Rock submarine. So good play from Crazed. Maybe he's going to be able to get off this island as well. And Zoc being asked to make a lot of airplanes here. He's making gunships and torpedo bombers. Really nice economy from Zoc. He's got actually a T2 transport as well. And this is a really nice Aurora actually from Chosen. Somehow got all the way over here and there's nothing to stop it really. Now with no radar, no visual. Well, actually there is visual. But if there's no visual and no radar, then Auroras can actually kill off T1 point defenses. And now this is going to be very important as Craze comes under assault. He's got protection from, these gunships have protection from rocks, interceptors, and all the T1 anti-air turrets have been killed off. But for Crazed, he does have a lot of submarines in the water, but there are torpedo bombers from Zoc. Crazed is going to have to be extremely careful here. And Armageddon is coming in to try and clean this up. Crazed will probably get out of this situation, but it's going to be very difficult for him to do anything once he's survived. See, the gunships are going to town, being absolutely brutal, coming back after his ACU. Crazed is on very low HP now. He needs to get back into the water as soon as possible. Down to 1,000 HP, 600, 300, he's going to die here. And Crazed is the first victim. Really nice teamwork from Rock and Zoc. Rock, Zoc, teamwork. And we'll see if it's full share or not. If it is, then Armageddon could get all this and be very powerful. If it's not, then it's all gonna disappear. It's gonna be a very important part of this game, and it is full share. So Armageddon has received this base, and Armageddon with extra mass and an extra base is not something that you really want to face if you're the other team. I think we can expect Armageddon to do very well in the next few minutes. Still got destroyers being spammed, and they're trying to fight Lanolus, but T2 submarines are a great counter to Seraphim destroyers. Longer range on the torpedoes, and the stealth is very good. Also, some T2 from Zoc is going to make it very difficult for Armageddon's navy. We've already got T3 mass extractors being upgraded for Zoc. So very hard ecoing here from him. Looks like some power problems. See, Armageddon's destroyers have no chance when they go in one by one, and somehow Lanolus gets these frigates around, and these could go after the build capacity, and that would be absolutely brutal to Armageddon. He just needs to pay attention and move them in here. They will automatically target the engineers. That's what frigates do, but sadly he doesn't seem to be paying attention, or maybe he is and this is what he wants to do. Lots of Auroras for Chosen. Chosen is very far behind everyone else in terms of eco, and that's not good when you're on this kind of map. Now if you look up here, Armageddon with 105 mass income from these two bases. Very strong economy from Armageddon. And he might be able to win air if he puts a lot of build capacity on air, because he's going to have a lot more power than everyone else. Actually, not really. Zoc is even with him. And we're about to have a T3 mass extractor for Zoc at minute 16, which is very fast actually when you're trying to make a navy as well on Roanoke. So Zoc is catching up to Armageddon, even though Armageddon has two bases. He's got to spam navy as well as hold on to the base and eco. And Rock actually still has the lowest mass income. It's just deceptive because he has a kill. That's why he has a better score. So Rock, in this case, Armageddon doesn't really have to worry too much about Rock, because Rock isn't too much of a threat. He doesn't have any eco at all. So Armageddon could afford to focus on Lanolus and Zoc, which are by far a bigger threat right now. And all of this navy has been given over to Lanolus from Zoc. Zoc does not want to have to micro two things at once, even though he's a very good multitasker. And still T3 Master Strikers being upgraded, so Zoc going for a very hard eco, and actually he looks like he's surpassed everyone else in terms of mass, which is very impressive. And we have got T3 Master Strikers for Armageddon as well. It's very close in terms of eco. And you can upgrade these naval activators and activators in general. I'm not sure what they do. So you can see that Engymod is not really intrusive into the normal game at all. You have the option of making multiple T2 factories, as Lanolus has done, but you can also go the old-fashioned way of spamming engineers. So it's very nice in a way that does not intrude on the game, and you can still have standard-ish games. See, Zoc is at Tech 3 Air now, and this has a much greater build capacity than it would if it was a normal T3 Air Factor. He's got the air activator here at Tech 2. Those activators actually have quite a bit of HP, so they're hard to kill. And here comes Armageddon going on an attack against Rock. He's got a little bit of a naval production set up here. That's going to be a lot of build capacity lost for Rock. What people don't understand is that build capacity is actually a resource in this game. So you have to kill off as many engineers as you can. If you have an opportunity to kill engineers of your opponent, do it, because that is a resource just like mass and energy. Because who cares if you have the best economy in the world if you can't use it, and engies are the way you use it. So definitely want to hamper your opponent's engineers as much as you can. And actually some bizarre circumstances here. If Rock can kill all these submarines because he has numbers with submarines, then all these frigates are helpless from Armageddon. So nice read there from Rock, and he's going to be able to defend here. It's going to be quite a bit of mass sitting in the water that he's probably going to want to reclaim. We've got 2 T2 factories from Rock, not putting much build capacity on them because it's better now to spam multiple factories. And some really intense action here as we've got multiple battles going on. Might be time to go to oh wait, oh, what the fuck? Okay. That was weird. We've got some strange lag here in the replay, going at 8 frames per second for some reason. I want to try this out. So we've got an intense fight here on the right hand side. At the same time we've got Rock and Armageddon going at it. So Armageddon's micro skills are really getting pushed to the limit here. He's having to fight on 2 naval fronts, and that's really what you want to do if you have an extra player. You want to force the other player to have to micro multiple things, and then they'll eventually make a mistake. Someone can't micro for so long. And how do you do this? Oh, I kept pressing insert for some reason. You need to press end. See, I just learned something. That seems awfully familiar, as if I tried it in another cast and failed. I just have a feeling that's happened to me before. Not sure why. But we've got lots of T3 maxes for Zoc. He's in the lead in terms of economy, even though he's only got 1 base. And Armageddon, really, to eco and micro 2 fights at once is nearly impossible, but you have to say Armageddon is doing the best he can with the situation. Some push back from Armageddon here because he's got numbers in terms of destroyers. This one's about to go boom though. You literally just have to look at it too hard and it's going to die. It's got 90 HP. It has gone down now. Now numbers for Rock, and this is going to be difficult for Armageddon. Both players just sitting there using attack commands, no real micro involved, but some shots were hitting the water there. Strange. Now, looks like the top side might have air control with Chosen and Armageddon. And you have to say the advantage is definitely with the bottom side. You can see they control more of the ocean. And they're attacking in all different directions. We've got T1 bombers, frigates, destroyers. Elena's with a ridiculous spam here. Very impressive from him. We've got multiple T2 factories coming up for him. It's going to be very hard to stop him then. He's going to have a massive navy. And all these bombers, if they get through, I doubt they'll get through. It was a nice idea though from Rock. He was trying to take out the build capacity, but Armageddon reacted in time. And we've got T2 submarine fights, but numbers for Zoc. There's no way Armageddon's going to get, Chosen is going to get anything from that. Some nice Barracudas from Zoc. That's all he's producing right now. Recognizing that those are the units to make right now. But we've got T3 submarines for Armageddon somewhere. Here they are. And that's going to be difficult for the bottom side to kill if Armageddon gets enough of those. Armageddon's still just walking around. He's been on a patrol with his ACU for a long time. And you can see the T3 factory is much more powerful than it is without the Engymod. It's building a lot. It's building very quickly even by itself without too many Engies assisting. And Rock has some power problems, but he's going to fix those. Just making some T3 power for himself and going for an air activator, so we might see T3 air next from Rock as well. And all these T2 subs are going to make short work of these destroyers. And the top side definitely aren't out of it. Armageddon has a really good economy, so he can probably do something to get out of the situation. But rapidly he's going to start losing map control. And Chosen is running out of options here. And this might be checkmate for him. He's under fire from torpedoes, and if he leaves, he's going to get hit in the face by destroyers. So yeah, Chosen will go down here, and then it's going to be all up to Armageddon to fight against 3 players. As I say, it all comes down to Rock and Zoc doing very well against Kraze. I'm not sure why Kraze had his ACU on this island to begin with, but he did nevertheless. And Chosen is going to go down now, because once Kraze died, it became almost impossible for the top side to do anything. So Armageddon is now by himself, and we'll see if he can do anything. If Armageddon can kill at least one of his opponents, he might have a chance, but 1v3, it's basically impossible. Especially when you're facing players such as Lanelus, Zoc, and Rock. So Rock hasn't been playing for a while, but looks like he's as strong as he's always been. And I hope he starts playing more, because he always used to be fun to watch. Remember on GPGnet, I used to try to copy him when I played. I didn't do too well with it, but still tried it, and he was one of my favorite players to watch. And this T3 sub is still doing very well. Gets a few of these Barracudas down. See, the T3 subs are very strong from Seraphim. Enough of them are going to do well. And actually, since the bottom side doesn't have any capacity to make T3 subs of their own, enough of those could actually put up a very good fight against these different navies. Armageddon is now with the worst score, but he's still got a very strong mass income. But once he loses this base, which he surely will, I can't see him defending this base from these destroyers from Rock, then he's going to be done. And now both of these side islands are going to be lost for Armageddon. So it was a nice nice work by the bottom side, and I think we can safely call this game over, because I don't see anything Armageddon can do. Really, he's been on the back foot for the last 10 minutes or so. Although this sub here, if it keeps its distance, could actually fight off these destroyers. And some nice T2 arty from Armageddon. So just an enormous navy from Lanelus. It's just really hard to compete with this. T3 subs being dispatched in that general area. Armageddon here needs to save as much of his tech as he can. He needs to save Cybern, Aeon, and Seraphim tech so he can use the different weapons against his all Cybern opponents. And lots of T3 factories being upgraded here. And if he can start spamming out enough of these T3 subs, he's going to be in a very good shape, actually. At least for the moment. He's going to lose air, though, because Zoc is spamming T3 air. So even though he might be in good shape with Navy, air is going to be a big problem. And the Strat Bombers are now being produced from Zoc. He's got one already. Actually, he's got these. So Zoc is way ahead of everyone else, as he usually is in these games. Although he is just losing his Strat Bombers now against these cruisers. And it's just impossible for Armageddon to win air back at this point. Although T2 flag, mobile flag, is an option for him, since it floats as he is Seraphim. Now this base has been totally demolished by Lanelus, and these subs are actually holding him off. You might just see a massive T2 submarine spam, which is probably the best move for Lanelus. I think after this I'm going to do a 1v1, because this is enough of Navy for now. Actually, these T2 bombers are going to do nicely against these subs. Armageddon definitely knows which units to use. TA for Life will tell you that these torpedo bombers from Seraphim are garbage, but they're not that bad. They do get the job done. Of course not when there's ASF in the area from Zuck. And now if we see some of these engineers fall, it's going to be very hard. Actually, what are these doing? He's going to use T3 Engies to reclaim. Not sure why. It's very strange. Actually, these bombers might die to the surface fire of these submarines, and there's no danger of elevating them because these cannot shoot with surface weapons. I have a bunch of Aeon naval factories here for no apparent reason from Armageddon. This is just crazy from Leonidas. He hasn't really done much except wipe out Chosen, but we've got a nuke in production for Leonidas. And that really means it's over. Armageddon will never get a nuke defense up in time. It's already a quarter of the way done in that nuke. Massive amounts of torpedo bombers, strap bombers, navy. This is just obscene. This is abuse of Armageddon here from the bottom side. We've got lots of engineering stations up for Rock. And since he's not producing air factories, all these do is insta-produce these engineers. And Armageddon asking to be killed because the bottom side isn't really doing that. That's some brutal splash there from Zuck. All these engineers are going to fall. Just 2 bombs. That's a massive loss there for Armageddon. Now strap bombers going after Armageddon's ACU. Very weak damage on the Cybern one though, so it's going to take a while to break through the Seraphim shield. And we're just waiting for the explosion here. Armageddon is walking into the open. He's on the patrol route. And his T3 subs are finally being overwhelmed, I guess. He's got aircraft carriers. For what reason, I can't really tell you. Maybe for the anti-air power, but you might as well use cruisers for that, or T2 flak. And here comes Zuck with another round of bombs. And Leonidas is going to get the final shot, so Armageddon goes down. It was a nice game on the NG design mod. And 31 minutes, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and hopefully I can make some more videos today. So I'll see you guys next time.